Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is a channel update. It is for July, and we're just going to go over how the channel has fared in this month and what is coming in August. So it's going to be a little bit fragmented, this guys, because I'm finally able to do commentaries and my brain's a little bit scattered, because this is the first day that the heat has let up and it's not been that crazy heat wave nonsense. So I've been able to shut off my room without it turning into a complete and utter blast furnace like it did when I was recording the Dark Souls 2 DLC. So, you know, what has changed with the channel and what is there to be expected? So the first bits of interesting news we have right now is Resident Evil 4 playthrough is coming to a close. It's a walkthrough as well. It's not even that, it's a no damage run, isn't it? We've got a handful of videos coming shortly for that one, and then it's all done and dusted. There is one video left on the Onimusha run, and then that one's been put to bed as well. And then the Final Fantasy playthrough that's been going for quite some time, it has one episode left on it as well. And we're pretty much tying up all the live stuff that I have on the channel at that point. Sure, the Dark Souls DLC thing will continue to run until it's done, but that's just a first impressions thing that people want, because that's people enjoy the blind runs, and judging by the comments, a lot of people are enjoying the anger that I had during that, so it's win-win. But that will be done then at that point. So what will be featuring on the channel is a really good question. So Devil May Cry 4 is going to continue until it's finished. I still have to do some recording on that one because I'm just kind of being lazy, really. There's going to be more Dark Souls 2 PvP. It's going to be more of the random stuff. I'm going to try and get some actual decent footage from the DLC content and all the new patches to see how they affect the game. Maybe create a new build, that kind of thing. It all depends on what the connections are like to how quickly I get anything along the ropes of a video together. But I'm hoping that I can get in there and have some fun. Then we have the Anarchy Reigns stuff. So I've recorded a ton of Anarchy Reigns. I've not recorded a guide. I've just done a bunch of like platinum and no damage and all that kind of silliness on hard, which I think I'm going to intersperse them because it's one of those games where I haven't been commentating over it just to give it a contrast from everything else that's going up at the moment. A little bit like what I did with the Berserk videos, and it's kind of that stopgap in between the commentaries. You know, I usually do it with Dark Souls 2 quick clips from PvP, but because I don't have any and I don't really get those experiences like I did in the first game, it's much tougher to do that. But what will be starting is probably a good thing to say. Well, I want to do an emulator project. I'm not too sure which one it'll be. It could be Beautiful Joe because I'm hungry to play it and it's a super fun game. I'm not too sure. It might end up being something completely eclectic at this point. There are no new games out yet, folks, at all. So there's opportunities for me to cover different things. A lot of people are asking for Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy IV, you know, more Final Fantasy playthroughs, but they're a big endeavour, and before I jump directly back into one, I want a little bit of space. I am going to be covering Final Fantasy X, I just don't know when. It's a great game, and I said I would, and I will. I'm just not sure when that will be. But what is definitely coming to the channel will be a walkthrough for the DLC, which will be a bit more of a concise journey through it, and I think it's only going to be about 4 videos, and the 4th video is a bonus video showing you me getting some revenge on Jester Thomas in New Game, which is quite funny, because he goes down from, I think, 4 hits from a Chaos Blade, which it's kind of crazy compared to the one that I fought on the blind run. So that should be interesting. But another Dark Souls project, so there'll be people hopefully quite interested in that. I'm about ready to start my Wonderful 101 walkthrough. At the end of my second playthrough. I feel like I could do with a few more playthroughs just to get sharper, just to learn more. And there's also a ton of wonderful ones you can unlock by doing certain criterias in the game, and some of them you unlock are really, really good. It's just there's that conflict of if somebody doesn't have them and they're in my strategy, then they can't replicate it, but at the same time they're going to make some of the strategies so much easier because they're so powerful. But I'm looking forward to covering that game. I don't know what I'm going to do too much further with it. I'm probably not doing any rank stuff because there's certain levels on that game that are just completely and utterly rage-inducing when it comes to probably going for rank, and you know, I might wait till the winter when it's a little bit cooler to get my temperature up like I did with the Bayonetta stuff I managed to knock out. But it does say on all the Platinum's information that the Legend of Korra game they're working out comes out in the fall, which is, you know, American for autumn. And doesn't autumn technically start at the end of July, isn't it? It's, you know, summer starts to fade into August, and then we move on into those periods of falling leaves and dying plants and all that great things. So I don't know when that is, because they're not giving a release date, but I'm really looking forward to that, and that could be something great to cover in between. And of course, in August, at the end of it, it's going to be another one of the DLCs to cover, which is what we're going to be looking into then. And I'm really looking forward to that one, because I'm hoping it can win me over a little bit more than the Crown of the Sunken King did. But Wonderful 101 will start to be featured. I'm going to restart my rental service so I can get some Wii U games that I have no intentions of buying, just to bring some more diverse content. That could be really, really interesting. And as far as the 360 and the PS3 goes, there is going to be some Last of Us coming on grounded difficulty, because I promised it, and I think we're about a week away from the re-release of it, so I could try and make it coincide with that. But aside from those things mentioned, there's some open slates at this moment in time for stuff to cover, so I'm ruminating on what I think could keep pushing the channel forward, because we've had a really successful month here, guys. The subscribers are shooting up, which is really nice to see. I'm getting a lot of great feedback from people. There's, you know, a lot of likes in contrast to those few dislikes that I get. It's all really positive numbers, and obviously the Dark Souls stuff does wonderful. It always does. Mine is a channel that whenever I put Dark Souls or Souls games in general up, a lot of my subscribers come out of the woodwork, because that's what they're here for. And I just hope I can get to the point where I can get those kind of views on other things, and I do have a very dedicated group of people who watch those other things and love those other things, but I just need to keep on building, you know, the fans that want that rather than the fans that are here for one specific thing. Because my channel is about all different shades of gaming. It's not just this one, you know, isolated thing. And I do believe that it can be easier to build a channel based on a single thing, but you shoot yourself in the foot, and eventually it can become very difficult to keep the enthusiasm that you previously had, because you can't keep playing the same game unless you're incredibly disciplined like a professional gamer would be. And that is not, you know, I get paid on YouTube, I'm a professional gamer. I mean the people who have been playing Street Fighter 4 since it came out, and they play it every day so that they can go to these tournaments and try to be the best. You know, I'm talking about real discipline, not YouTube discipline. But it's about time when I want to start talking about Patreon, so this is pretty much the end of the video update for just a little bit of bringing it forward to where we are in July. If you're not interested in this, or you think this is somehow, you know, exploitative or just not sincere or any of that good stuff, or if you just don't care, feel free to close off the video. You've heard all the information you're going to get from this, but for everybody else who's interested, this is going to be the Patreon section. So, earlier this month, I started a Patreon against my better judgment, because I'm incredibly stubborn when it comes to asking for help in my endeavours. I don't know why. It's a pride I cannot get away from. It often leads to avarice, but here we are. I made it, and it's doing really well. It's awesome to see the response that it's got. So this is me hopefully being able to give a little back to the people that are putting forward towards the Empire. So I have 18 patrons, and I'm going to name them in no particular order right now from my Patreon sheet, just to give thanks to these people who've put forward and helping support the channel. So the first one is Jose E, or Jose E, I'm not too sure if there's any like funny pronunciation. Then we have Gary Atwell. Then there is it Svein Bekkenes? Bekkenes? It's obviously some name that needs to be pronounced better than I'm giving it. Then we have Kyle Lake Main. Then there's Andy Gallagher. Then we have Adrian Fisher. Then there's Jeremy Coyle. Here we go, this is an interesting one. Palata Blasius, with an interesting looking dragon picture as well. Then there's Anthony Sesnick, General Random 1, Adam Seebeck, Swag Sarcastic, Johnny Eriksson, Joel Wundale, or Wundale, I don't know why I went suddenly German then, Tygon, Anton Baker, and Chris Paulili. So all of these people, all the people that I've just named there, guys, I can't even begin to say just how awesome it is that you're able to believe in something and pay it back to it. I just think it's some of the most profound and touching things ever. There aren't words, so I'm not even going to waste your time with trying to say how grateful I am for what's going forward. And yeah, just sincerely, folks, thank you very, very much. It's a blessing, it truly is. And I'm not a religious man, but it is a blessing, and it's something truly special. And then finally, it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago. It was on the 9th of July, and a lot of people were donating, not through the Patreon thing, but just through the PayPal stuff for my birthday, which is awesome. And I don't have the names of all of them, but I have the name of one of them because he donated a ludicrous amount, and it enabled me to essentially buy a Wii U, and all the Wii U coverage I have that's going to be going forward on this channel is because of this individual. And it's an individual you'll see in my comment section who goes by the name of Surfy. And dude, you're an evil genius of the most special kind, and there are no words to say how much that gesture moved me. And it's not about the money, it's not about the number, it's just the fact that, as you said in the litany of reasons for doing so, you know, you believe in it, and that's all that I've ever wanted people to do. So to me, that to me is just, I'm rambling, and I'm rambling for a good reason. But thank you all very, very much. It's just crazy. It's truly crazy. And hopefully there's something on the horizon that's popping up on the channel that you're going to be interested in. I'm always up for suggestions. It's just a lot of the times I'm unable to come through with a lot of what people suggest, so you just have to take that with a grain of salt. But there will be cool new projects coming. I'm hoping to keep this momentum moving so we can keep on rolling, keep on building, and yeah, we can eventually take over. So thank you very much for listening. That was a channel update, and as always, you take care now.